Senator Payman.
Thank you, Acting Deputy President. I'd like to begin by saying I applaud my fellow independent Senator David Pocock on his incredible efforts on the issue of gambling ads. It is an issue that heavily impacts my constituents in Western Australia. According to CQ University in Sydney, WA has a higher proportion of gamblers than the rest of Australia. Gambling awareness advocate Tim Costello suggested in May that over a third of problem gamblers had perpetrated or suffered from domestic violence. The pervasiveness of gambling advertising in society is having a profound effect, especially at sporting events. When I attend the Dockers games, not only do I see sporting bet ads at the stadium, but you can even pop down to level 1 and place a bet during the game. And you know what? When I attend the Wallabies vs Springboks on Saturday, I am certain that I will see sports gambling ads plastered over the advertising boards there too. As a young person, I'm very concerned about the impact this messaging is having on the next generation of Australians. A relative of one of my constituents, a teacher, told me about how children as young as 13 were whipping themselves into a frenzy over multis and parlays and other gambling jargon that they were so disturbingly familiar with. This excitement is not harmless fun. Gambling has been gamified to appeal to the younger generation. In 2020, the New South Wales government's Gamble Aware organisation reported that 30% of kids aged between 12 and 17 had gambled in the preceding year, with around 10% of those being problem gamblers. Gamble Aware suggested that peer pressure, in addition to the constant advertising online and on TV, meant that a significant cohort of young Australians had developed a perception of gambling and the financial and emotional stresses it entails as normal. This problem haunts children to adulthood with dire consequences. Clinical psychologist Anastasia Runnis noted in April this year that the rate of suicidal ideation for problem gamblers was as high as 81% and 30% had attempted suicide. We know that gambling's reach extends beyond just the individual. It infiltrates families and communities, often leading to devastating consequences. And the social cost of gambling in WA is enormous, with families torn apart by addiction, financial ruin and even violence. The government's reforms, which stop short of a total ban, need to go further in supporting vulnerable Australians, and it needs to ensure that we are addressing the gambling issue within as a societal problem.